Hello, everyone. I hope all of you are doing well and everything's good with all of you. Welcome if you are new here. Welcome back if you have already been watching my face for a long time. You know? Okay. So, as you can already read down from the description, कि आज हम लोग एक बहुत ही अमेजिंग सा करियर गाइडेंस करियर काउंसलिंग टाइप का एक सेशन करने वाले हैं, राइट? एंड गुड फॉर यू दैट आई एम गोइंग टू बी इन दैट सेशन लाइक द होल टाइम. सो आज आपको पूरे टाइम में दिखने वाली, right? So we'll get started on this session, but quickly, you already know the drill, right? Like, share, subscribe वाला, isn't it? तो जल्दी से like, share, subscribe करिए. And अगर अभी तक आपने हमारा ये जो इतना इंटरेस्टिंग सेशन चल रहा है इसका लिंक अपने सारे फ्रेंड्स के साथ शेयर नहीं करा है तो जल्दी से करिए. मैं इनविटेशन नहीं भेज रही हूँ सबने, ओके? सो आई एम नॉट सेंडिंग इनविटेशन टू एवरीवन. जल्दी से लिंक शेयर करेंगे सब अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ एंड वील गेट स्टार्टेड. In the meanwhile, जब तक आप लोग लिंक शेयर करेंगे, what I'll quickly do, that I always do, is show you the platform. Okay. So today we'll be learning about how we can make. Okay, wait a minute. I'll just restart my mirroring. So what we'll do quickly today is we'll take a session on how we can actually build a career in computer sciences. Okay. Now, computer science जो होता है, that's a very interesting field. Everyone today, सबको games खेलने हैं, सबको app बनाना है, right? मगर उसे बनाने के लिए क्या-क्या steps हम लोग को लेने पड़ते हैं, क्या-क्या career decisions हम लोग को लेने पड़ते हैं. We are not very confident about those things, और maybe हम लोग को सब के बारे में इतना knowledge भी नहीं रहता. So आज we'll be learning all of those things. So we'll just quickly have a view कि हम लोग को ये जो हमारा amazing सा lecture है ये कहाँ देखने को मिलेगा, right? So this is what the Octopod Studentink platform looks like. So when you'll go on the platform, you'll be able to find a lot of these things, lectures and everything. Today I have some internet problem जिसकी वजह से सुबह से मेरा बहुत दिमाग खराब हो रहा है because my internet is not working properly. So just give me a minute. Let me check out on my internet. What we'll do is कि let me just give this off. हम लोग application बाद में देखेंगे. आज हम लोग बाद में एप्लीकेशन देखेंगे. आज हम लोग लेक्चर पहले कर करते हैं, ओके? तब तक हमारा इंटरनेट ठीक हो जाएगा, होपफुली. ओके, सो टुडे वी हैव विद अस वन ऑफ दी सुपर अमेजिंग पर्सनालिटीज जिन्होंने इससे पहले आपके कोडिंग के लेक्चर्स भी ले रखे हैं. सो टुडे वी हैव पूजन सर विद अस. पूजन सर already has a lot of knowledge. He himself is a coder by profession. And he's into the field of he's been learning and studying computer sciences for a while. Okay, he currently is in last year of MCA, and he's working in a company called as Cyber Octet, और वहाँ पे he's working as a networking and security administrator. अभी honestly speaking मुझे नहीं पता networking and security administrator क्या होता है या वो क्या करता है. So आज हम वो सारी चीजें we'll learn it from Poojan sir himself. So today we'll be learning about how to make a career in computer sciences. So Poojan, hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
I am good too, dear. So tell me, let's we'll do the chit chat later sometime. But before that, you tell me कि computer sciences होता क्या है exactly? Like what is this field? ये कहाँ से आया दिमाग में कि मुझे ये करना है and maybe इसमें मेरा कोई future हो सकता है and all of those stuff.
Computer science is basically computers and softwares related to computers. Like there are so many languages on computer sciences that you can learn, right? And you can get into gaming development. You can get into many other field like software development or application development. So there are vast number of fields that you can get into, and you just have to be into right path. That yeah, this I want to get into game, then you can get into gaming technologies, and if you want to get into any software technologies, you can get into that through computer science. So it's basically all about computer and its software.
Okay, so simplify this for me क्योंकि मैं मतलब software के नाम पे मुझे कुछ भी नहीं आता. Okay, I'm like very bad when it comes to I'm the very untech savvy kind of a person in this super technically high-rise era. So we'll get into a very simplified manner. Okay. Abhi, is there something different that we need to do for gaming? Is there something different that we need to do for coding? Is there something different that we need to study for creating software? So are there different fields?
Yeah, in computer science, coding is the basic thing, right? You should know that you should know some languages. There are many languages like C language, there is Java, there is Python, and all have different use. Well, like if I am not wrong, C is used for gaming, and Python and Java, they are used for getting into website development or application development. So there are many other languages also. If you want to get into statistical things, computing thing, you have to learn R language. So there are so many languages, you just have to pick one, whatever you want to. If you want to get into gaming, then you have to learn C language. If you want to get into app developments or something like that, you have to learn Android and Java or Python. So there are so many languages, and it's not that if you pick all languages together and you can get into any career, right? You just have to pick one. Yeah, I want to get into gaming technologies. Okay, I want to build games. You can get into that by learning C. So that's how it works.
Okay. So, if I say that when was that age in your life when you actually realized the fact कि this is the area जिसके अंदर मुझे interest है, this is the area जिसके अंदर मैं शायद career बना सकता हूँ. So वो
Yeah,
कौन सा phase था जब आपको ये चीज realize हुई कि हाँ ठीक है ये चीज इसी को मुझे भी for lifetime यही continue करना है.
I came across computers and its languages around when I was in 10th standard, and I had that subject HTML, and it is used for making web applications and like web pages, right? So, and I found it very interesting. No, I want to make web pages. I want to make blog of myself or about something like food or something like that. So I get into that and I explored more. Yeah, so there is not only HTML, there is so many things that I have to learn if I want to get into computer science. So this is how I came across the languages, computer languages and its softwares.
Okay, so what was that one thing जिसकी वजह से like is it was just gaming that gaming is the area जहाँ पे मुझे interest है or were there other
Gaming,
things?
yes, gaming was initially something that I was very fond of. I learned C language just to because that would be able to create games, and I actually made one two game about like snake and ladders and something like that, and it caught my interest, and I studied more in that, and now like I do have knowledge of C language and gaming technologies, so that's how it works.
Okay. So, talking about your areas, how if we talk about computer science as a field, so whatever were the steps that you had to take with respect to choosing a correct college, choosing a correct stream for yourself, and what all were the research and the updation with regarding to your course that you need to keep up with,
Well,
considering the fact that technology is something जो day after day change होता है. That is something we all know. Like technology is ever changing.
yes,
So how do
it's
you keep
always
up with
going
it?
to update. It's always going to update. Thing is that if you want to get into computer science, you should know that you have to start at very basic level. I would prefer when I started learning HTML first, then I get into C language, and then it goes block by block. It's like series of blocks that you have to learn and you have to understand. Yeah, this language is the basic one. HTML is the basic language. From that you can learn how to understand C language. So it's like you have to learn and you have to do a lot of practice in those languages, those particular languages, so that you can get into any technology you want. So this is how I will prefer that. Pick one language, basic language, and study it very hard, like very professionally, and then you can get into another language.
So if we talk about this part, एक language सीखने में कितना time लगता है? Like अगर एक on an if a person is an average person, so how long will it take for that person?
Yeah, on an average, language requires 6 months, I guess. Let's say give or take 5 months. Okay, 5 to 6 months on one language will be a lot for an average person, because you can do practical on that. You can learn theoretical part of it. Yeah, if someone asks you what this language is about, you will not open your laptop every time and show them your coding, right? You should know the theoretical parts too. So that's how it works. You have to do practicals, labs. There are labs all over the internet and many other platforms. You can do like C labs or HTML labs. You can do that, and you can also have some books with you. Like if you study in school, they do teach you HTML or C language, right? My school used to teach me that. So theoretical and practical knowledge both are required for this thing.
Okay. So, what was your journey? So, starting from school to college to finding different areas, internship करने के लिए किन areas में internship करना है वो figure out करने के लिए. So, what was your journey all through?
So yeah, I say, right. I came across around in 10th standard, and at that time I used to learn HTML and C language, and after that I chose to get into Bachelor of Computer Application. This whole stream is focused into how to make computer applications, right? So in my bachelor's I learned three languages, that is Java, Python, and JavaScript. So this is something that is useful for making web application. You see Facebook or you see Instagram, right? And those have those apart from having mobile application, there are web applications too, right? Which you open on your laptop or PC. So I learned that, and as a student I wanted to get into most like term like practical part. I didn't want to just sit and code all day. So in my masters I chose into security, like I chose security and networking, and that's what domain is right now I'm working in. Networking and security is basically that you should have knowledge of at least 5 to 6 languages, so that if someone show you that code or something like that, you should know that yeah, this code is of this language, and you should be able to understand that part.
Okay. So, talking about security and networking, right? That is something that you are already into. So we'll actually discuss this a little further on these lines. That what do we do in security and networking, and what is the scope of it ahead of now. मगर उसके अलावा, what are the other streams that someone can go into? So security and networking can be a very specific stream. In the similar way,
Yes.
what are the different streams that are there?
There are developers. You can get into developing teams. Then there are architectures. Solution architect is also the part of computer science. You should know what technologies you want to use for your company or for yourself, whatever you are working on it, right? If you have startup, you should have that knowledge that yeah, I want to use this technology this much. Then there is cloud computing. Then there are blockchain. There are so many fields, and student has to know couple of languages for that. And I would say that at least work on 3 to 4 languages before getting into any domains, any specific domains, because all domains are interconnected. You will get people who are working in Python, who are working in Java, who are working in every other languages, and you should be able to understand that yeah, their code is trying to tell me this thing, their code is about this thing. So you should know what other languages are. So before getting into any specific domain, my advice is try to learn 3 to 4 languages, and you will be able to find domain yourself. There is, I just like I said before, you can get into developers, you can get into specific works like that.
Okay. So, see, we'll talk something very specific. जैसे देख के सब लोग को होता है कि नहीं हमें भी इस एरिया में आना है हमें बनाना है. So, um, that's very correctly that you stated as an example. So I'll ask you a story of that example. Okay, so you correctly stated that there's Facebook and there's Instagram.
Yes.
जो applications हम देखते हैं, and then that's something that we are like, अरे how can someone make like this application is so unique, there's just so much. We like open our phones and we get into that area, and then someone like मैं भी ये बनाऊंगा. So what is like that journey? How do you think like how can someone really structure out something so unique? What is the mindset behind that thing?
Okay, so first of all, you should know that whatever application, those are applications, right? What we use in our daily lives, the application, what language you want to get into to make those applications. There is Java, JavaScript, there is Python, and there are many other languages, .NET and every other thing. So if you figure out that, yeah, I want to make this application in Java, and there is whole framework of it. If I get into professional, there will be whole framework part of it. But to be in layman language, I would prefer that learn Java language, and then you can make web application. You can make as good application as Facebook if you give time to your application. So this is how it, Facebook, Instagram, those are depend on, like, they made those in Python language, and you can make it in Java too. I made in my bachelor's, I made one chat box type of application in Android. So this is how it works. Like, you have to select language to make application, and you have to learn those language. That, yeah, I want to make this thing in Java, I will learn Java step by step. I will get master in that, and you can make that application.
So, okay, so if we discuss on the same lines, when we talk about your field, okay, networking and security is what you are into. So, what is this area like? We talk about hacking, right? Then we talk about ethical hacking, and then we talk about building an entire web frame to protect files which are very confidential and everything, right? That some things that we see in movies and sci-fis and all of those things, right?
Yes.
So how does that work? How is first dilemma? How is hacking and ethical hacking really different? Like it's pretty like it's a very controversial statement.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, how do we really create something that like that can get into a technical part of it, but I still would like to know and what is the framework of protecting some files. And like Facebook is such a huge company if we talk about it all together, considering that it has Instagram and ample of its subsidies out there, right? So how can a company as big as that protect its data from being captured by ample of hackers around the world who are profound professionals?
So ethical hacking and hacking. So I'll say just ethical hacking and black hacking. We call it as black hat hacking. So
Okay.
when people unethically get into any website or into any application, they broke that door and get into that. That's unethical hacking. That's not ethical, right? You would say that it's a hacker or something like that. What ethical hackers do, they provide you security. They provide that those are flaws in your application, they repair that backdoor. That's what I'm getting into. That if you are ethical hacker, if you want to get into security, your job would be to find those flaws and to repair those flaws from getting exposed to the hacker world or to the normal world. Because there are so many people who try to get into Facebook unethically, to try to get into Instagram or some web application, big companies application or something like that, unethically, because company give them bounty. We call them bounty hunters. We company give them bounty for finding bugs, for finding backdoors to their application, that your application is this vulnerable due to this or this thing. So security and networking is kind of thing where you need to understand so many things at one time. You need to know 3 to 4 languages. You need to know how this cloud and networking on what level it works. So it's basically something that you have to choose after your bachelor's and like at the end of your master's. So you will be able to understand 2 3 languages and couple of SQL databases and everything. So that would be good at that time. But if you are thinking that no, I want to get into insecurity and networking, even in my I'm in 10th standard or 12th standard, that would be quite difficult for you because you wouldn't know any other language. You would not have those professional things with you, those understanding that you require to get into this domain. So
Okay.
my best advice is to practice 2 3 language, and you are good to go in this field. If you have interest in stopping hackers and everything, you should know that you want to have 3 4 languages on your hand to understand those kind of stuff.
Okay. So to the framework part of it. How do they really, what all are the technicalities? How many hours of work does it take to protect such big MNCs and companies having confidential files and everything out there on laptops and everything abroad? How do they safeguard them?
Technicalities a company would do like backups. They would always keep a backup profile of their users and their data, right? And right now, if you see, there everywhere there is cloud system. Cloud security is what that you are giving. Suppose I'll give good example of Netflix. Everyone know what Netflix is, right? Netflix does not have any physical servers or things to protect data. They gave all those things to Amazon. Amazon cloud. There's this thing called Amazon cloud. Amazon is providing cloud security, so they gave those contract to Amazon, and now Amazon is responsible for protecting Netflix data and their users data and everything. So they give a storage in their whole infrastructure, that yeah, this 1 terabyte or 15 or 100 terabyte is for you guys, and no one will touch those things. So this is how it works. You either hire a person to protect your data or your users data, or either you put physical servers and whole thing to protect your users data.
Okay, great. I didn't know that. Then that's a good piece of knowledge for me too. I didn't know that actually. Netflix being a company really outsource
Yes,
it to Amazon.
yeah, they are outsourcing their whole security and everything to Amazon just to keep that safe, because they don't have any physical servers.
Okay. So one very basic question from mine. What is like the scope and future about this thing? Considering that today we have everything is going to be technical after like everything has become technical more or less. But what is the scope of you growing in the field that you are currently in? Or any person growing if they actually choose this field, considering that they want to be a developer or they want to get into networking and security, or maybe they want to get into gamings and create app creations and all of those areas. So what is the scope and what is the prospect of growth in this area?
So prospect, see, if you'll see anything around you, if you'll clap, your lights will be off. Those all things are kind of internet of things. What we say is internet of things. Everything is getting into internet, everything is getting technical, and you don't have to drive your own car. Tesla made that easy, right? So that's how thing is. They are doing because of computer technologies, AI, artificial intelligence, and everything is getting into those domains. So if you are thinking that, oh, I want to do computer science and I want to get into this, would I able to get job? There are number of jobs in different domains that you can get into. You can, if you learn computer science, you can also get into automobile company as an IoT engineer. That's how it works, right? Computer field, there is always tech department in every company. There will be almost one or two tech department in big companies. So either or way you do networking or you do computer science or whatever you want to do, you will always land on some job and that you are professional at. So my advice, just go into this, learn other domains, learn those things, and you will definitely get job.
So okay, so I like quote like this very normal thing that Stephen Hawkins once said that sooner or later, if AI is like fully implemented, artificial intelligence and development is fully implemented, it'll just take over the human race. What's your take on that piece?
Yeah, I see, that's a quote, right? And it's basically, if you'll see everything around you, everything is artificial intelligence. You're working on laptop, you're using mobile, there are robots who are doing surgery nowadays. So basically AI is taking over the world, but at the end, human brains are those things that is implementing those AI, right? Who are controlling those AI. So if you have enough knowledge, I would say you can also make your own AI. So that's what how it is. Human brain works like that. So you invent, you explore, and then you can make things on your own. So yeah, now it like in couple of years you will find everything in your house would be an AI.
Okay, so what do you think? Everything has a good side of it and a bad side of it, right? So considering that this thing has ample of good sides of it, if we talk about the bad side of it, considering that robots are coming and taking upon the human jobs and everything, considering the fact that AI has actually made the humans like us and people
Lazy.
all over the world so lazy that they are just reluctant to even drive a car by themselves and just want someone else to drop them somewhere. So what is your take on that, please? That is it benefiting us, or it's benefiting us but in the wrong manner?
Yeah, see, every technology or everything has its own advantages and disadvantages, right? We made those things to make our life comfortable. But with that, we also compromise that, yeah, we will become lazy and we will not do work. But what I see is that those things, though, you need to get evolved to understand those things, and human race has evolved a lot. From, if you see, we used to live in caves, and what we are living right now, we we have space shuttles going onto Mars and every other planet. So technology will evolve every day, every month, every year, and so on. But with that, you need to be also active. You need to be also in this race with technology, that yeah, I'm not going to let this thing be part, like lazy part of me. So yeah, like, it's upon you that you have to get into that race.
Okay. So the last thing from my end, like if you have to advise someone who's very confused that if he should actually make a career, could he be successful? Maybe he's scared. So what will your advice be for that person who wants to really get into this area but is not very sure of it? How should they get out of this dilemma that they have created in their heads about paving a path for them in this field of career?
Well, when I chose to get into computer science, I was also scared, to be honest. I didn't know what I'm going to do in another next, like another year or another 2 years. But see, this is good thing about computers. The path gets paved right away, because see, you will start with very basic thing, and I'll prefer to start with HTML. Start with the basic language, understand how computer works. Computer can understand only two language, that is 0 and 1. That's machine learning. Computers can understand only that thing. So you have to make the whole system in your brain that no, I have to learn this thing one by one to make these things happen. And everyone wants to do something technical, right? For that, you have to start somewhere very basic. Start from HTML, go to C language, and apart from, you will get to know other languages as well as you are going, right? Use internet. My biggest advice is, there is lot of there are a lot of sources on internet all over the world. You can get books, you can get YouTube videos, many more things, and you will be able to learn. It's kind of self learning, that once you start, and you will get resources, and you will make yourself into that.
Great. Thank you so much, Poojan, for such words of knowledge that you actually showered on. Who's just one last, I'm just curious, so I'm just asking it out. Who's your inspiration?
Well, my inspiration was my teacher back then. He has PhD in AI right now, like artificial intelligence. He was my teacher back then in ninth grade, ninth standard, and he taught me HTML language. And he was so much into computers that whole day used to either teach students or either he used to do code. So I used to go at his place and learn HTML language, and he also taught me C language. So yeah, basically he was my inspiration to get
Great.
into this field.
Great. This is very inspiring. जब हम लोग दूसरे लोगों से पूछते हैं या हम whenever we go out and we say that who's your role model, who is your inspiration, they end up saying some crazy, amazing, renowned personality's name. Like I was expecting hearing say Elon Musk or maybe Zuckerberg or something from your mouth, but it's very inspiring when you really that shows your interest towards the topic, that you wanted to learn it from a person who himself was in the same field trying to teach you that same thing. So it shows that it is not just your win, but it is the greater winning goes to the teacher who got this thing in your head that you can achieve what you are today.
Oh, yes, like see, you see motivational videos and everything, right? But whatever you want to do, you have to pick that thing up. Yeah, I'm going to take this and I'm going to complete that thing. That's how you can achieve getting, like, if let me say that you are new into computer science, right? And you want to study HTML language. Don't drop it in between. Complete that whole part and you will achieve whatever you are trying to focus. You will achieve time by time. But if you will drop it, if you will quit it in between, then it would be difficult for you to come back and pick it up from where you left. So my advice is, if you are picking things up, complete it, don't drop it.
So that is a very, very inspiring word that we heard from you. That if you're picking things up, complete it. बीच में डर
Yes,
लगेगा, मन करेगा भाग जाओ
डर
छोड़ के,
लगेगा, yes.
मगर you have to stick to it, right? जब भी हम कोई भी ऐसे कोई भी काम करते हैं, हम मे भी शायद फर्स्ट टाइम किचन में जाके खाना बनाने बैठते हैं, हम लाइटर से वी लाइट अप द गैस एंड देन वी लाइक अब क्या करें, तो समझ नहीं आ रहा, राइट? बट अल्टीमेटली यू एंड अप कुकिंग, राइट? That
Yes,
is something, this is like a very basic example, but that is how you manifest your talent into something, and that is what we need to do, guys. So basically this was from Poojan's end and this is from my end. If there are any questions, please let me know in the comment section. We'll like wait here for 2 more minutes. If there are any questions, please let us know in the comment section and we'll definitely ask Poojan about it. Till the time आप लोग हमसे questions पूछ रहे हैं, I'll quickly show you the application, considering कि अब मेरा इंटरनेट चल रहा है। जैसे पूजन सर ने आपको बताया कि इंटरनेट कितना इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, आज चल नहीं रहा है, तो माय इंपॉर्टेंस हैज लाइक गॉन somewhat somewhere here and there. Okay, thankfully, correct. So now we have this thing called as Octo World, right? So हमारा आज का जो मेरा और पूजन सर का लेक्चर चल रहा है वो आपको यहाँ लाइव दिख जाएगा. So we have these lectures going live here. Oh my god, there are just so many comments and so many views, considering the fact कि everyone's interested into computer sciences, right? उसके साथ साथ जैसे पूजन सर ने आपको बताया कि आप इंटरनेट पे जाके यूट्यूब पे जाके अपने इंटरेस्ट के वीडियोस और ये सब ढूंढ सकते हैं. नाउ यूट्यूब पे आपके पास इतने वीडियोस होते हैं ना कि आप कई बार कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं कि मैं उन वीडियोस का क्या करूं, कौन सा वीडियो मेरे लिए करेक्ट है, कौन सा नहीं है, राइट? सो ओवर हियर यहाँ पे यू कैन एक्चुअली फिगर आउट कि आपको कौन सी एरिया में ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट है, कौन सी टॉपिक्स आपको ज्यादा फोकस, कौन से ऐसे इवेंट्स हैं, सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, टॉपिक्स हैं जिसमें आपको ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट है. एंड आप यहाँ पे जाके इन द कैटेगरी सेक्शन उन सब चीजों से रिलेटेड यू कैन फिगर आउट लॉट ऑफ वीडियोस. इफ वी टॉक अबाउट मैनेजमेंट, इफ वी टॉक अबाउट लैंग्वेजेस, सो वी हैव जस्ट सो मेनी वीडियोस एंड एवरीथिंग आउट हियर जो आपको फोकस्ड उन्हीं एरियाज के बारे में नॉलेज देंगे जिसमें आप नॉलेज पाना चाहते हैं, instead of giving you 100 videos which makes no sense to you, right? So we have a lot of content over here. Uske sath sath we have a lot of courses such as this English course that we have here, the objective tests and everything जो आप reward points के through purchase कर सकते हैं. So you don't even need to put down physical money into it. आपके पास अगर आप reward points है तो आप ये सब purchase कर सकते हैं. Plus we have all these discount coupons and everything जिनके थ्रू आप आपके फेवरेट एक्टिविटी पे, फूड आउटलेट पे, सब चीजों के ऊपर डिस्काउंट भी पा सकते हैं, right? So let's make sure that we utilize the platform, but above all we have these amazing classes that keep on going, right? And we would love to hear from you. If you have any doubts, any queries, if there is any specific topic जिसके ऊपर आपको चाहिए कि आपको लेक्चर चाहिए या आपको चाहिए कि आपके खुद के कुछ ऐसे एरियाज हैं जिनमें आपको गाइडेंस चाहिए, so you can actually put all those things down here, right? At the same time, I really don't see any questions coming other than yeah, I like it. So I guess everyone's like pretty clear on their end. And if there's any question, you can definitely drop it down in the chat section and we'll be there to help you about it. Till then, thank you, Poojan. Thank you for sharing all this amazing knowledge that you had and the kind of experience that you have faced through the journey, considering that you had your own ups and downs. It took you some time to choose your own path. And considering the fact that आप बच्चों के पास कोई है जो आप लोगों को ये सारी चीजों के लिए गाइड कर रहे हैं, दैट्स अ वेरी बिग थिंग. क्योंकि शायद हम लोगों ने जो हमारे करियर चूज करने में मिस्टेक्स करी हैं, हम नहीं चाहते कि वो आप लोग करें या उसकी वजह से आपका कुछ टाइम दी दे. करेक्ट. So thank you so much, Poojan, for coming on board
Of
with us.
course.
It was a pleasure talking to you, like always.
Thank you so much.
Okay, then bye bye. Please do take care of yourselves. Until next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.